Good morning, first grade Smarties, and happy Monday. So last week we talked about the habitat of tundras. And are tundras very cold places or very hot places? They're very cold places, right? What do we see most of the year in tundras? We see snow. And so the animals and plants that are found in tundras have to make adaptations. That means they have to make changes. They have to do certain things to help stay alive in those cold areas. We talked about how some of the animals had really long, sharp claws so they could dig in snow for the grass or plants that would still survive in the snow. We talked about how plants, they have really shallow roots, so that means they stay close to the surface, because if they spread wider, that means they would need more sun and they'd need more water. Now remember, these plants stay really low to the ground because with snow comes a lot of wind, right? So they stay close to the ground so they do not get blown over. And what is something that is missing in tundras? Think of plants. What kind of thing do we see a lot of that is not in a tundra? There aren't any trees that grow, right? Because trees have really deep roots. So tundras, would that be an easy or difficult habitat to live in? Be pretty difficult, right? Be very cold. We this week are going to be talking about one of my favorite habitats, and it is called the rainforest. Now, the rainforest is almost exactly the opposite of a tundra. So we are going to explore rainforest plants today. Now, when we're looking at this, I want you to think of the pictures you see. What are some things that you see that are different with a rainforest than with a tundra? Okay, remember, when we're talking about the plants, think about what all plants need. They need sunlight, they need water, and they need soil, right? They need soil to be able to grow. And they also need good temperatures, right? That's why tundra plants, you don't see any trees, and you don't see really tall plants, because it's not an easy place for plants to live. So rainforests, if I'm saying it's the opposite of a tundra, what's the weather going to be like? If tundras are very cold, that means rainforests are going to be very, keep it in your head. All right, I am going to get this started. So we are exploring rainforest plants. All right. Ooh, what do you see over here in this first picture? What is this? Got a waterfall going on. Ooh, and I see some mist, see some fog, and some very tall trees. It says rainforests grow where rain falls almost every day. So that's one thing that all plants need. So it's already getting that. It says these tropical areas are hot and steamy. More kinds of trees and other plants grow in rainforests than any place else on Earth. So rainforests are the places on Earth that the most different kinds of plants and trees live. And why? Because they're getting that sunlight, and they get what almost every day? They get rain almost every day. All right.
Canopy.
Rainforest trees, whoa, look at this tree. Rainforest trees grow tall to reach the sunlight. So what's one adaptation that they have? They have to grow very tall. It says they're thick trunks. So here is the trunk of a tree. It says their thick trunks hold them up. Their leaves crowd close together and form a canopy. Now, if they form close together, what does that kind of act like? Think about something you might sleep in if you're camping. It acts like a tent, right? It says they crowd close together to form a canopy. The canopy shades plants below, because not all plants need full sunlight. Some only need partial sunlight. That means they only need sun a little part of the day. So these trees help other plants. They have this adaptation where the leaves grow close together to form a tent to protect the plants below those tall trees.
Understory.
All right, this was very unique. I did not know what this meant. So it says below the canopy, so below that tent of leaves from the trees, is the understory. So this is the understory. As you can see, we have some trees that are growing very tall. And look at all these beautiful different kinds of plants. So what do you notice about them? They're very what? Very green, very bright. It says very little light reaches here. Ferns and small trees grow in the dim light. Most understory plants have big leaves. So here's a fern, and the leaves are very big. Now here's an adaptation. Why do they have big leaves? The bigger leaves take in more light. So the bigger the leaves, the more light that it can take in for the rest of the plant.
Vines.
Woody vines called lianas grow from the forest floor. So here's the forest floor, and here are those woody vines. They climb up tree trunks to reach sunlight. So that is an adaptation that lianas or woody vines have. They attach themselves to those tree trunks so they can reach what? Sunlight. It says lianas hang like ropes from tall trees. All right.
Protecting the rainforest.
Many rainforests have been cut down to make room for farms and roads. But rainforest plants make much of the world's oxygen. We're going to click on this word to see what oxygen is. Oxygen is a colorless gas in the air and water that animals need to breathe. Who else needs to breathe? I need to breathe. You need to breathe. Your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, pet dog, pet cat, they need to breathe. So what is happening when these rainforests get cut down? We're losing that oxygen. We're losing that gas that plants give off, because plants make that oxygen. They take that in and they expel it. That means they put it out. And we take in that oxygen because we need it to breathe, right? It says they also provide medicines and food. Humans must keep them from being destroyed. So these plants have to adapt, right? They have to grow tall, or they have to protect the other plants. But guys, what's more important is that we have to protect our earth, right? So that means, I know that you're not going outside and cutting down trees to make roads, but here's my challenge to you. Maybe this summer, go to your local grocery store and find some plants that you could have. Maybe you get a little succulent, or maybe like Miss Mason, you have your own little tree growing, because this tree is giving off what? Oxygen. So maybe you can help our earth. See, I'm hiding in my tree. Help our earth by keeping it safe. Keep those plants growing. Keep them reaching sunlight. As you can see, this plant is growing and getting that sunlight. It has these big leaves. Make sure that if you do get plants, give them plenty of water. Give them the sunlight that they need. And make sure that they have some soil that they can keep growing and get that yummy food for itself. So guys, we learned about 3 different kinds of plants that we see in the rainforest. We talked about the very tall trees.
Canopy.
We have those very tall trees that make a canopy. We talked about the understory. We talked about ferns. Here's a fern and how they can have very big leaves to get that sunlight. And we talked about
Vines.
the vines called lianas. So out of those three, I want you to think, which of those three plants did you find to be the most unique? All right, guys. I hope you have a great Monday. Try to find a plant to take care of and keep roaring. It's going to be a great day. Work hard. Make sure to read in the sunshine today because you need sunshine too. All right, guys, have an awesome day. Keep roaring.